Story 1. But we're family, you have to get over it sometime. No, absolutely not. If being a family was important to you, don't betray family to begin with. Story 2. Filming children in heightened emotional states and laughing at them is disrespectful. It is wrong to humiliate someone simply because you feel powerless in your own life. Such actions only serve to make you feel better at the expense of others who have less autonomy. Story 3. Violating the privacy of our children. A high school acquaintance of mine is constantly posting emotional tributes about her children on social media. Pictures of them sleeping and notes they have written her. Keep that private for your diary. Story 4. If an employee steals $50 from the register, they are arrested, must pay it back, pay fines, may go to jail, have a criminal record, and, of course, are fired. If a company steals $50,000 from employees, they might be fined. None of the money goes to those employees, no one gets arrested, there is no jail time, no criminal record, and they remain in business. Story 5. Spreading misinformation without any interest in critically thinking about it or fact-checking it first. Story 6. Needing to provide a significant amount of personal data for simple tasks like ordering food or visiting a website is one of the most accepted and overlooked forms of blackmail today. Granting permission for a company to use your personal details and information in exchange for services you are already paying for, or even just to access their web pages, is concerning. Story 7. Continuing to tease or make jokes about someone when they have asked you to stop, or when they clearly do not like it, is not funny. It is bullying. Story 8. The insurance system requires you to pay into it your entire life, and you often have to navigate through various requirements regarding which medications are covered and which doctors are in their network. However, when you do use it, you still have to pay a deductible, and frequently they will ask you to cover additional costs out of your own pocket. I acknowledge that there are situations where having insurance is beneficial, but often it feels like they are just collecting money from you without providing adequate support. Story 9. Everything about the job-seeking process can be frustrating. The job advertisements can be misleading, the people you encounter may not be genuine, and you often have to present yourself like a used car salesman. After numerous interview rounds, many employers lack the common decency to inform you of your rejection. Story 10. Congress is making millions in the stock market. Insider trading is illegal for the people they represent. Story 11. The general lack of compassion in our society is concerning. We could ensure that everyone has a home, food, and healthcare, but we just do not. Story 12. Not doing the right thing, especially if you are in a position to make decisions that impact other people. Story 13. Companies are laying off significant numbers of employees during economic downturns. While this is a common occurrence, it frustrates me. I understand the reasons behind these layoffs, but it is truly disappointing when they happen. Story 14. Playing music on speakers or talking loudly on a speakerphone in public transportation is quite annoying. As an American, I find it frustrating when I encounter people who do this. After my visit to Asia, not just Japan, I noticed that it is considered impolite to behave in such a manner, and I felt reassured that my feelings were justified. Story 15. People do not care about nature, the environment, natural ecosystems, and native plants and animals in their local surroundings. Story 16. This is frustrating how normalized it is for charity events to print thousands of t-shirts that many people will never wear again. While some individuals do wear those shirts, it is important to consider the significant number that go to waste. I'm not suggesting we eliminate t-shirts altogether. I advocate for a more thoughtful approach to distribution instead of automatically giving them to everyone. Story 17. I will mention the widespread layoff culture we are experiencing in the United States. Companies treat people as if they mean nothing. My former boss dedicated her life to a company for 20 years and was laid off as if she were nobody. Story 18. Many women are dismissed by doctors when experiencing health issues. I nearly died in my early 20s because of this. Numerous women have lost their lives due to complacent and sexist attitudes from healthcare professionals. Story 19. Tipping culture has become predatory and is no longer an optional reward for good service. Now, it is either automatically added as a fee or customers are pressured into paying it regardless of the quality of service. One time, My friend had a waitress write herself a tip while he was putting his card away. Story 20. One time, I had a flat tire in a parking lot with a friend. He took out his phone and started filming to post on social media. Why is it that the first thing people do in a time of need is pull out their phone? What content can you get from posting about a flat tire? It irritated me. I'm 33 and have never used those apps. Not everything has to be documented online. Story 21. Touching my wife's belly when people find out she is pregnant is surprising. We don't even know you. If I am not letting my brother do it, I am certainly not letting a stranger from Walmart do it. Story 22. How lax everyone is about not wanting to ask the server for a clean fork to avoid issues with their food. That shouldn't be normal. Story 23. Lay off employees over 50 years old. Then rewrite their job description so human resources can hire someone younger. This occurs in a state where employee rights are minimal. I have witnessed this routine carried out in corporations numerous times. Story 24. Lenience for bad drivers and aggressive individuals behind the wheel. When actions are taken by anything else, especially by bicycle, people tend to use their common sense. However, when it involves a car, there is often a perception of helplessness. We advocate for equal rights and the importance of every human life. Yet, this sentiment seems to diminish when individuals are behind the wheel. Story 25. Drinking culture in the United States is prominent. From Monday to Thursday, people consume coffee to stay productive at work. However, from Friday to Sunday, social drinking becomes the norm. It's frustrating when people react strangely if someone chooses not to drink. Story 26. People with no spatial awareness can create challenges in places like shopping malls. Once, I had to take a detour because 5 women with strollers were walking side by side, occupying the entire hallway. Additionally, many people enter stores and just stop right at the entrance, blocking the path. I often remind myself that I might be in the way, which suggests I may not have great spatial awareness, but at least I am aware of my surroundings. Story 27. Not everyone is suited for college, and not everyone should attend. Most people really aren't. This often results in degrees that leave individuals unemployable. Many find themselves in debt from loans for decades or even a lifetime. Story 28. Living in Asia for a while has made me aware of the culture of boasting that we have developed. Everyone boasts about their car, their job, their spouse, their physique, their possessions, their shoes, their vacations, and their homes. It's overwhelming. We often think we are the best at everything. Humility has been almost completely lost. Story 29. Gender roles and the stereotypes surrounding them are significant issues. I am a male nursing student and understood what I was entering into with this career path. However, it frustrates me how often questions about my competency arise simply because of my gender. This comes from professors, hospital staff, patients, and classmates. It is now 2024. While men and women may have differences, gender-specific jobs seem outdated. We are all adults, full of potential and capable of improvement every day. Story 30. Elaborate bachelor or bachelorette parties and all the pre-event gatherings that people are expected to attend can be overwhelming. When 2 people decide to get married, those close to the couple often feel obliged to attend an engagement party, a bachelorette party, a bridal shower, a rehearsal dinner, the ceremony, and the reception. Why is it considered normal for guests to go into debt because 2 people want to get married? Story 31. Screaming at your kids. Don't get me wrong. Being stern with children is sometimes necessary. However, yelling at kids is likely to make them afraid of their parents instead of respecting them. To prepare children for the world, they need to learn to accept feedback with respect. Fear of others' anger only holds them back. Story 32. The way billionaires are able to hoard massive wealth and the way politicians sell resources to corporations that extract those resources, which is detrimental to the environment. Story 33. I live in Spain. Bullfighting is a tradition, and every town party features some game involving the suffering of bulls. Story 34. People who allow their children to become overweight are making a grave mistake. Aside from health conditions, It is not acceptable for a 5-year-old to weigh 100 pounds. This can have serious implications for their well-being. It is heartbreaking to see a child struggle to walk properly due to excess weight. The same applies to pets. They are not just chubby, they are suffering. Many pets cannot even turn their heads, run, or lie down without difficulty. Additionally, backyard breeding and designer dog breeds are concerning issues. I support ethical breeding of animals, but ethical breeders are becoming increasingly rare. Story 35. It is okay to not believe in science. However, not believing in science fundamentally disadvantages us as humans. It is one thing to be reluctant to act on what science tells us, but quite another to outright deny its validity. Story 36. Littering while walking past a piece of garbage on the ground without considering picking it up is a concern. We must ask ourselves, if everyone in the world behaved the same way I do, what would the world look like? Story 37. Telling young girls that when a boy bullies them, it means he likes them is incorrect. It means he enjoys making those he perceives as beneath him in the social hierarchy feel terrible because he is insecure about his own position. This mindset sets up young girls, who will not remain young forever, for failure and unnecessary heartbreak. Ultimately, it communicates that abuse is a form of love, which is wrong. We need to stop saying that. Story 38. Piggybacking off the comment about posting children crying or being disciplined, the family vlogging lifestyle showcases every aspect of their lives with their kids and relationships. I don't mean helpful accounts that provide parents with insight or advice, but rather those that share every moment of their lives with their children and relationships, good or bad. Sure, film and share your Disney World experience, but showcasing every single second of your developing children's lives on the internet feels dangerous and strange. Personally, it would bring me anxiety to have a bunch of strangers invested in my romantic relationship as well. Story 39. Women handle the majority of household labor, child rearing, mental responsibilities, and tasks such as setting appointments or purchasing gifts. Story 40. The lack of actual customer service provided by companies is disappointing. I remember when it truly existed. Story 41. Children on social media, even when the accounts are managed by their parents, have their pictures saved by questionable individuals. I will not even discuss the parents who intentionally pose or dress their children to attract the attention of a large following of older men, as I know this happens as well. It is appalling. I would never take that risk. Story 42. Bringing children to a restaurant and allowing them to yell and misbehave is disruptive. Please control your child or leave, calm them down, and then return. The rest of us should not have to deal with your choices. Story 43. Having to work 5 days out of 7 to simply exist. I am done with working. I no longer care about making someone else a lot of money. Story 44. Awkward conversations about relationships and reproduction are crucial for children to understand. Kids who are informed about sexual matters are less likely to become victims or, at the very least, are more likely to report an adult when such situations occur. Story 45. The sound of people chewing is bothersome. It's not just the smacking, which is my biggest pet peeve. The noise of swallowing and the food being mushy in their mouths creates a clicking sound that drives me up the wall. Story 46. People who do not return shopping carts in the parking lot create unnecessary inconvenience. It is inconsiderate and adds extra work for others, especially when there is a cart corral available. It conveys the message that one's convenience takes precedence over the efforts of others. This situation can evoke feelings of annoyance due to its unnecessary nature. Story 47. The price of cheesecake these days and McDonald's and like Wendy's, what are you doing? Is your social media person's salary $80 million or something? Story 48. Little kids drinking soda or other sugary drinks is not ideal. A 2-year-old shouldn't be drinking Mountain Dew. Your child playing Little League who is barely moving doesn't need a sports drink. Kids spending all day on phones, tablets, computers, or in front of the television is concerning. Watching shows or playing video games all day isn't normal. Children should go outside and play. No screen time and experiencing boredom is important for life. People refuse to be bored anymore. And I wonder how much creativity is being lost because so many kids are growing up with their minds dulled by screens. It's important to not be rude to those who are rude to us. You don't have to initiate it, but with social media influencers everywhere, we should feel empowered to ask them to leave our space. Influencers who hurt or humiliate children, homeless individuals, or those struggling with mental health should face serious consequences for their actions, even if no one is physically harmed. It isn't funny to humiliate others. Pranks are not amusing. Story 49. Touching a pregnant woman's belly, even if you are a total stranger, is quite perplexing. I have seen it often enough to wonder if every pregnant woman should be given a taser once they start showing. Story 50. Fathers do not receive paternity leave in the United States. My wife and I just had our first child in February, and I was frustrated to find out that my privately owned healthcare company does not offer any paid time off for fathers. Since my wife had a cesarean section due to our child being in a breech position, she needed a lot of help during the first 2 weeks. This meant I exhausted all my sick leave and paid time off. I literally have nothing left for an entire year. I knew this was common in the United States, but I thought that someone making a six-figure salary in a management position critical to the program's success would receive some paid time off. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Every full-time worker, whether earning minimum wage or $1 million a year, deserves time away with their child when they are born. Wealthy and disconnected politicians wonder why birth rates are declining. I am not looking forward to finding childcare shortly. Story 51. Talking about someone's weight. Did you lose weight? You look great. Thanks, I guess. Can we stop this, please? Don't even get me started on asking women if they are pregnant. Unless her water is breaking and a baby arm is sticking out, just don't do it. Story 52. Saying you look tired to someone can be considered rude. Commenting on others' appearance is generally inappropriate, and telling people they look tired has become too normalized. Story 53. Filming individuals without their consent, especially vulnerable populations, upset children, or anyone being humiliated, is unethical. Individuals who do not take measures to obscure faces are behaving irresponsibly. Story 54. People who work in customer service are often forced to be polite to customers who treat them poorly. I can't imagine businesses would lose much money if it became common for those in minimum wage customer service jobs to respond to customers in the same manner. This mentality has contributed to an entire generation of difficult customers. Story 55. I believe people communicate too casually with each other in adult life. You can be warm, personable, and friendly, but I think we are missing out on pleases and thank yous. Story 56. That everyone wants to have tan skin. I have a very fair complexion. I have received a few comments over the years asking, "What's the matter? Don't you like the sun?" I don't care at all about being tan. I'm pale and proud. Story 57. My family tells different stories about me and demands that I be held accountable for my anger. However, they are not responsible for the abuse I experienced at their hands. Everyone yells about generational trauma but does nothing to stop it and berates victims when they speak out. Story 58. Constant selfies and Instagram poses in public are embarrassing. Everyone is doing the same poses repeatedly. Story 59. Not knowing the local plants around you and being unaware of the natural world is like viewing it as a niche interest rather than recognizing it as an integral part of being a human on Earth. Story 60. Single-use, non-biodegradable products are piling up as waste. I strongly resonate with the quote by Pete Seeger. If it can't be reduced, reused, repaired, rebuilt, refurbished, refinished, resold, recycled, or composted, then it should be restricted, redesigned, or removed from production. It begins with questioning if there is a better alternative, and we can express our choices through our spending. Story 61. When the government raises the minimum wage, companies often respond by installing machines and laying off employees, all while the chief executive officer is paid 200 times their workers. Everyone accepts layoffs and automation as the only solution, and the executive team capitalizes on this. It's frustrating. Story 62. Knowing a door will slam behind you makes it easy to turn and ease it closed. However, Some of my small apartment neighbors are unaware or simply very loud. The apartment block is small. The neighbors, as far as I know, are not. But I don't let it bother me. Story 63. Driving, especially bad driving, is the most dangerous activity most people ever engage in. It is astonishing that so much of our society is built around it. Story 64. Many people move out of their homes quickly after graduating from college, often into an apartment or a house. I have mentioned to several individuals that I might stay at home for a few years after college to secure a job and then build from there. However, not everyone views returning home after college as a normal choice. Story 65. Being mean can be distressing. I watch a lot of sitcoms, and I feel uncomfortable because the humor often relies on being mean or edgy. Furthermore, calling someone stupid or implying that they are just because you disagree is not constructive. Story 66. My dad recorded a meltdown of me when I was 2 years old and would bring it up to everyone for the rest of my life. He would complain about how it was on VHS and he couldn't show anyone, but he loved sharing how I was crying so loudly and was so red that he thought I would die. I haven't spoken to him in 4 years and never will until he apologizes for years of bullying me. His own child. Story 67. Driving in the left lane when you aren't passing is unacceptable. It doesn't matter if you're doing the speed limit or driving significantly over it. Pass and then move back to the right lane. It seems this rule is often overlooked, but it is the law in many places. Please do not linger in the passing lane. Story 68. Children using the internet unsupervised. Toddlers dressed in revealing outfits. Parent influencers who constantly film their kids. Story 69. Filming in gyms, schools, workplaces, or any public area is not acceptable. I do not want to be filmed while working out or walking into class. Story 70. People who cannot walk from point A to point B without being absorbed in their phones often act as if it is your responsibility to watch out for them. I work in a casino, and I have lost count of how many times I received disapproving looks after being bumped into by someone who was distracted by their phone. Story 71. Advertisements are everywhere. Large billion-dollar companies are making people angry and, at worst, ruining their day for a fraction of a cent. Story 72. Total female nudity in R-rated movies, but not total male nudity. I am not saying I want full nudity. 90 to 95% of the time, the nudity and sex are not relevant to the plot and do not contribute to advancing the story. They just feel unnecessary. However, I have always been bothered by the imbalance. Story 73. Literally everyone is self-diagnosing these days and using it as an excuse for poor behavior. If you truly have an issue, then see a medical professional and be honest with them. It's not trendy to have mental health or neurological issues. Story 74. Dumb dads in the media. If we were all as foolish as we are portrayed in commercials and television shows, there would be many more families living in tents. Story 75. The automatic live-to-work mindset suggests that you must sacrifice your entire life for your job. Additionally, companies and executives reward employees for working excessive hours while shaming others for using their paid time off. Story 76. Making something your entire personality can be limiting. You can like something, and so can I. We all have special interests, but it's important not to define ourselves by just one aspect or interest. Story 77. Bringing dogs everywhere has become a concern. Dog culture is out of control. They don't belong in grocery stores, restaurants, or most places outside a dog park or home. Not everyone likes dogs, and some people are allergic or afraid of them. Many owners let their dogs off-leash or have aggressive breeds they cannot control. They allow their dogs to do whatever they want and get upset if anyone comments because the dog is considered family. Often, they use the dog as an extension of themselves. Story 78. I dislike cat videos where people scare them, let them fight, or exploit the suffering of animals for internet fame. Story 79. Postpartum urinary incontinence and weak pelvic floor muscles are common issues among women. However, this does not mean they are untreatable. Postpartum pelvic floor physical therapy should be a standard part of care. You should not have to deal with unintended leakage every time you cough or laugh. Story 80. Animal slaughterhouses concern me. We are not permitted to enter them, and videos are extremely rare. It must be quite unpleasant. Story 81. Not respecting other people's time is frustrating. Many individuals are unreliable, consistently late, and may skip plans without notice. If I can't trust you to fulfill your commitments or arrive on time, what can I trust? While extenuating circumstances can arise, they do not occur every time. People often provide numerous excuses to evade responsibility instead of owning up to the fact that they do not value your time. Story 82. The tolerance women have for the unrealistic beauty standards of the world and the pressure to become famous on social media is overwhelming. I can't stand it. Story 83. Using the word literally for emphasis when you clearly mean figuratively is incorrect. Your manager's head did not literally explode. Otherwise, I would have seen that on the news. Story 84. Letting people go when there is plenty to go around due to money and profits is troubling. Money is not real. It is paper we collectively decided has value, and somewhere along the way we determined it has more value than people's lives. We allow individuals to starve and live in unbearable poverty because it is not profitable to help them. We waste significant amounts of food. Houses remain empty. People die from preventable diseases, all because of money. It is absolutely sickening when you reflect on it. Story 85. How common it is that a good time is strongly associated with alcohol or drugs. The fact that some people cannot fathom having fun without mind-altering substances is more tragic than we realize. People often brag about their addictions and make fun of those who have not developed a high alcohol tolerance. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.